Hello there and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about this, the Hollyland Lark M1 wireless microphone kit. Now you might be wondering why I am going to talk about a microphone kit when this channel concentrates on FPV drone and electronics. Well, the very simple reason is this. I am a content creator and I use microphones on this channel. I have been using the Rode Wireless Go for over 2 years, and at times it has driven me to the ends of my sanity. This system that I've been using is pretty much now end of life in the sense of my unit is almost dead, and I've been looking around at a new microphone to get for the channel. Hollyland happened to reach out to me as I've been looking and ask if I was interested in doing a review on this, and I decided to say yes. So today what I'm going to do is share with you my thoughts and experience as a content creator on this microphone kit. Now, just to be clear up front, they have sent this to me for free. They have not paid me to make this video, and as always, as with all of my content, my thoughts are entirely my own. My review will be my thoughts, the overview, and at the end, I will do what I always do on this channel and share with you my genuine thoughts, share with you the positive and negative elements of the product as well. And I'm going to tell you if I think I'm going to use this as a replacement for my Rode Wireless Go, which is pretty much dead. Now, just because I've been sent it for free, doesn't mean it's going to get any favours, doesn't mean I'm going to give it a pass if it isn't up to the scratch, because the simple reality is, if it won't do the job I needed to do, I will just go out and buy another Rode Wireless Go. Anyway, let's get on with it. Let's take a closer look at what this kit's all about, and then at the end, I will share with you my thoughts. Okay, so the Lark M1 from Hollyland is a digital wireless microphone on the 2.4 GHz band. If we take a closer look at what you get in the box, if I shift over here, you will find this nice little case inside, which houses everything that comes included in the pack. When you unzip this, if you lift it open, you will find at the bottom the microphones and their charging case. This is what we'll take a closer look at in a moment. Then at the top of the case, you'll find all of the included accessories, including some dead cats, some connections, a TRS and a TTRS cable, as well as a USB cable and the instructions. Now, the kit that I've been sent features 2 microphones, a receiver, and this case. The real nice thing though about this case is that it is a charge case and it has a built-in 1400 milliamp hour battery that will allow you to charge the 2 microphones and 1 receiver up to 2 times. It features a 4 LED battery level indicator on the front that kicks in when you open the lid, and you can see that's showing there. And there's a USB-C port on the bottom that allows you to charge the built-in battery, and a little hole as well for a speaker that will give you an indication once charging is done. Taking a look inside, when you lift the lid, as I've said, you can see that the indication for the battery level lights up, and you then also get an indication here for each of the devices telling you that they are charging. Now, we have a microphone on each side. We have one there and one there, and then we have our receiver located in the center. You can see in the bottom of the case, there's pins in each of the slots, and then there's little copper contacts on the bottom of each of them telling it to actually charge once plugged in. Now, the real nice thing about this setup is when you remove them from the case, they automatically turn on and power up and connect. However, when you're finished with them, you can simply place them in the case and they will automatically begin to charge, ready to use next time. Okay, jumping in a little bit closer. Now, as I've said, this is the dual mic setup. Each of these has a built-in rechargeable battery. The receiver's battery is 200 milliamp hour and the transmitter batteries are 140 milliamp hour, and that should allow for approximately 8 hours of runtime on each of the units. They can also be charged up to twice from the charge base as provided, so that gives you a huge amount of runtime when you're out in the field, and they take about 1.5 hours to charge from flat. The wireless system on these microphones works on the 2.4 GHz band and is classed as an adaptive wireless system, and it should offer a range of somewhere between 40 and 200 meters depending on the environment you're in. Now, the microphones themselves on this are omnidirectional, and the specification says they have an input dynamic range of 86 dB and a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz. You can see that there is a grill on both the top and the front, allowing it to have environmental pickup as well. But something I found in use is you can actually help quash that by using the included dead cat that covers the front, and then it makes it really a lot more centered around the audio coming into the top. Taking a walk around each of the devices, on the microphone we obviously have our grill on the top and on the front for the audio input. On the side we have a power button and a mode button which allows us to change the settings on the unit. On the bottom there's two gold contacts for charging the built-in battery, as well as a USB-C port for charging and updating the firmware. And then on the back we have this little built-in microphone clip. If we then hop over to the receiver, again we have a power button on one side, we have an audio output. We have then on the opposite side a multi-function set of buttons which include volume and mode, a USB-C port, and then again on the bottom we have the contacts for the charging. Something you will notice on the microphones is that there is no lav input option on these. You only have the audio input via the grills with the built-in mic. As I did mention earlier, you can actually help to reduce the background noise on this by using the included dead cat. The way this works is this just slips over the top nicely. I'll be honest, it's a lot easier than the dead cat I've seen on another manufacturer's mic that you have to clip on and twist. This simply slides over the top with a rubber boot. It covers the front microphone input, but then leaves the top area there available for the audio of the person wearing it. Now, to control the volume on these microphones, you actually do it via the base unit. There is no individual volume control on each of the mics. That is set by the main receiver. There are 3 different volume settings. You've simply got low, medium and high. When you turn it on, it should be in the medium setting as standard. And to change that, you would simply just press down once to go into the low mode, or press up and up to go into the high mode. There is no real visual indication of what volume mode you're in other than having to change it, and my advice when using the system is to always just make sure that you have got it in the right setting. Whilst it should power up into the middle mode, you may need to actually confirm that. It would be nice if there was a proper indication of volume as standard, and unfortunately there's no way to set the volume independently for each of the mic units. There is also the option of changing the mode for the microphones as well. You basically have a mono and stereo mode, and what I mean by that is you have a mono mode that mixes both of the microphones onto the same channel, or you have a stereo mode that then mixes the microphones onto separate channels, allowing you to record 2 separate audio streams like you would use with a dual setup. You also have the option for the built-in noise cancellation on this system. To set that, you simply press the button on the microphone, and then you can see the LEDs actually change to green rather than being blue, indicating that you're on the noise cancellation mode. And then if I press it again, it will switch back to blue, telling us we're on normal. To change the mode for the audio output, that's exactly the same. On the main unit, you would simply press and hold the mode button, and on here you would see that the indicators will change. So at the moment they're blue, and if I press and hold it, in a moment we'll see that they will change to green, telling us that we're in the other mode for the output. So again, you have the option of the noise cancellation via the mics, and then the audio output type, mono or stereo, from the receiver. One other little nice thing about the microphone receiver is the clip on the back is actually a shoe mount. It will slide into your camera's traditional shoe on the top, holding it in place, and then you can simply plug the cable into the side, allowing you to connect it to the mic input. Now, whilst these mics are traditionally designed to be used with a camera with a standard cable, there are some accessories you can get as well for this. We have here a lightning cable for Apple and a cable for Android, which is USB-C. This is going to allow you to use these microphones with your smartphone, allowing you to do just basic audio recording on its own, or use your smartphone as a full filming device with remote microphones. And it's nice that you can get these, giving you a wider set of use cases with these devices. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is audio tests. Now at the moment I am recording with this mic system. It is here on my t-shirt, and that is connected into my computer and is being recorded via OBS. I have turned off all of my filters. There is nothing affecting the audio. I simply have the audio level set in OBS, and you're hearing it as it comes directly from the microphone. Now what I'm going to do next is just stop talking, and I want to give you a quiet audio test of the room that I'm in. There is some some ambient noise in here simply because of my PC and the fans running in the corner. But what I want to do is just demonstrate how the microphone sounds in this environment, and then we'll do the same test again with the dead cat fitted, because the dead cat changes how this mic sounds and picks up simply because of the way it blocks that forward grill. Also, I just want to mention that currently the microphone is set on volume setting 2. This I have found is the best setting. You can make it louder or quieter via the settings. However, I think number 2 is the perfect one for me, and comparing that to my other microphones as well. So I'm going to give you the quiet mic test. So that gives you an indication of how the mic picks up the background audio in the room. What I'm going to do now is fit the dead cat. I'll talk again, and then I'll do another quiet mic test so you can hear the difference between the two. Okay, the dead cat is now fitted, and you should now be able to hear that the microphone's tone has shifted slightly. I actually prefer it with the dead cat on. It has a better sound in my opinion overall. It just kills some of that ambient room sound that the microphone picks up. What I'll do again now is stop talking and give you another quiet mic test. So that just gives you a bit of an indication of the difference with and without the dead cat. Now, the next thing we're going to do is a comparison with the Rode Wireless Go. I'm going to compare them equally, so I'm not going to use the lav on the Wireless Go. We're simply going to use the mic and the base station just to give you an idea of how they sound. There will be no audio filters on, but the only thing I will do is level up the audio levels just so the volume is pretty much the same on both, just to give you an indication of how they actually sound compared to one another. So this is the audio off the Hollyland microphone. I am talking to demonstrate how that sounds. This is with it on my t-shirt. You can see it located below. This is the audio on my Rode Wireless Go mounted on my t-shirt. This is how it sounds. This is me doing an audio test on the Rode Wireless Go compared to the Hollyland microphone. What I'm going to do next is stop talking and also give you a quiet mic test just to demonstrate how the Rode Wireless Go sounds. So that is the audio on the Rode Wireless Go. What I'll do now again is switch back over to the Hollyland microphones. So now I am back onto the Hollyland wireless mic, and you are now hearing the audio from the Hollyland wireless microphone, which is the Lark M1, located on my t-shirt. There is obviously going to be a difference between how these two mics sound, but this just gives you an idea so you can have an understanding of the slight differences in the way they sound. To me, I actually prefer the sound on the Hollyland M1. I actually think it's a little bit nicer overall, especially compared to the Rode Wireless Go, which is just a little bit dull. You can pump the levels up on the Wireless Go, but in my testing it just gets way too bright, way too loud, and the settings that I've got the Wireless Go on earlier, in my opinion, is the best, and that is the same as the setting basically here on this, which is setting number 2. Now, the next thing I just want to show you is what the noise cancellation sounds like. I have done some tests on this, and I'm going to let you decide what you feel it's like, and then I'll give an opinion on that towards the end of the video. So what I'm going to do now is stop talking for a moment, allow you to hear the background noise, then we'll come back and switch over to the noise cancellation so you can have an understanding of how that sounds. Okay, now I'm talking with that noise cancellation mode turned on. The microphone is in the same place. Nothing has changed other than me switching on the noise cancellation. And I'm just going to talk to allow you to get a bit of a grasp of how it sounds with that feature turned on. And I'll share with you my thoughts on that feature towards the end of the video. So now the voice cancellation is turned off again, so that gives you an indication of the difference between the two modes. Next, we're going to do a quick range test outdoors. Nothing particularly stressful or difficult for the system. We're just going to do a basic range test where I walk away from the microphone to give you an idea of what sort of range you can get and what the performance is actually like. Okay, so the first test we're going to do is with the Rode Wireless Go. I've currently got it on my t-shirt and it's mounted on the cold shoe on top of the camera. So what I'm going to do is turn around, walk off, and we're going to start to see the point where the audio breaks up. So let's go for a wander. Now at this point I'm going to have to find random things to talk about. I've been using the Rode Wireless Go for over 2 years. This is the first version of the microphone set. And overall, I have to say it's been very good. Without it. Oh, it broke down there, I believe. I just got yelled. Is it now back? We're back, sorry. So if I turn around, is it gone? Is it starting at this point here by the sounds of it? Is it working again now? Testing here, testing, right, I've had the thumbs up. So I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna go backwards now and see how far I can get walking backwards down this little walking area before it completely dies. Now, as I said, the real issue, sorry, looking behind myself so I don't fall down the ditch, the real issue has been with this system is the battery life and charging. Battery life is okay, but it keeps, with regards to charging, I forget to plug it in, and then when I'm going to use it, it goes flat. There is also issues I find on this mic set with it not actually wanting to turn on. Sorry, just looking behind myself, continuing to walk backwards. And you have a problem sometimes, the mic just won't power on. No matter what I do, I can't get it to kick in, and it's become a real frustration for me, if I'm honest. And whilst the overall performance of the mic has been decent, there are quirks with this system that does make me want to look at using something else. Just walking into a bush, still walking backwards, still going, all the way, still going, and I'm getting to the stage of probably saying that is well enough. You can see I'm right down the bottom end now, and I'm just going to go to here and basically assume that that is enough distance for anyone. I don't feel the need to go any further than there. I'm just going to turn around back and pointing to the front and again now so you can see there. So what I'm going to do now is swap over and test it with the Hollyland. Okay, so it's now time to test the Hollyland. Now the receiver again is mounted on top of the cold shoe, and I got the microphone on my t-shirt. So time to go for a wander. Now, this new mic set is quite interesting when you look at what you get with it compared to, say, the Rode Wireless Go. And the real big benefit for me in it so far is the fact you get that charge base, because it means you haven't got all that USB-C messing around. You can simply throw them in and you know they're going to where it started to break up. What I'm going to do again is just turn around and point. So what I'm going to do now is walk backwards and then see at what point we actually lose the microphone again. Walking again, very similar to the Rode. Now, the out and out range on this really isn't the important factor. It's the range when people are facing away from the receiver, because that is the point that people need to understand that what performance is going to be like. There are, people moving objects around and things like that. Now, I am walking sort of side on this time, just so I don't trip myself over. Still walking backwards, and I'm going to walk to the same point I got to with the Rode. I'm not going to go any further. I'm That way I know that both systems have similar levels. I'm not going to push the range ridiculously because I'm just not convinced that's a valid test to need to do. But again, understanding what the performance is like on a normal test in a normal situation. Okay, so I'm at the same distance now that I got to with the road. I'm not going to put any further. This track goes on forever, but you can see between the two pieces of footage the difference in behavior. Okay, just to show you the ranges that I actually got to on this, here is where I got to on the Lark M1, and then here is where I got to on the Wireless Go before we started to get breakup pointing the other way, and I've put a line across there just so you can see the differences. Now, just before I jump into giving you my final thoughts, I just want to talk about audio quality on this system. Overall, I think it's very good. Having spent a lot of time listening back to this on recordings I've made, it does sound better to me than the Wireless Go. There is, though, the odd occasion where I've noticed clipping where I wouldn't have expected it. I've had the audio level set correct, but I can hear a slight distortion at times on high audio levels that are still well below the level I would have expected clipping to take place on. This may be avoidable if you use it in the lowest volume setting, because I've been mostly using it in the second setting. However, it is something I wanted to mention, and it is something you want to look out for. Overall, it's not anything I'm particularly concerned about. It is something I have just noticed in the edit very, very slightly, and I don't think it's going to be anything most people would pick up on, but it is something I wanted to mention as a result of picking it up in the review. Okay, so it's time for me to share with you my thoughts on the Hollyland Lark M1. Just before I do that though, I just want to say again that I did receive this microphone for free. However, they have not paid me to make this video. They have not had any input into its content. And as always, my thoughts are entirely my own. Now, I've spent some time with this over the last couple of weeks, and overall, I'm very happy with its performance. There are elements of it that are not as good as the Rode Wireless Go, but there are definitely elements that are better. I think the audio quality is good, especially at short range, and I love the wireless charging base. That means I just don't have to mess around. I take the microphones off, drop them in, and I know they're going to be ready the next time I need them. All I need to do is keep an eye on the charge level of the main unit itself on the front. With the Rode, I'm constantly having to mess around with USB-C cables to charge it, and it's just a big frustration. There are, though, some things that I do think could be better on this system. There is no easy indication of what the volume is set to. It would have been nice to have a display on the main unit just so I could see what was going on, or even an LED indication of what the audio level is. Also, the noise cancellation feature isn't particularly great. It isn't something I would be using in this environment, and the only time I'd consider using it would be somewhere where I wouldn't have a choice, because it does have quite an effect on the audio quality. As for should you buy this over the Rode Wireless Go, it's a complicated question to answer, because in my tests the Wireless Go did perform a bit better on longer range. However, this system is much better value overall in my opinion, and I think the fact that you're getting a charge base alone is a massive benefit for me specifically, as someone who uses wireless systems like this in the studio. If you are someone like me that does use a microphone in this situation, I think you will do very well by this system, and I see no reason it's going to give you any problems based on the testing that I have done. And I think I'm going to be using this as my main microphone for the foreseeable future, just as a result of the convenience of the system overall. As I said earlier in the video, you can get this as a dual or single microphone setup, and you can get a version without the charge base as well. My advice though is, if you are getting it, do make sure you get it with that charge base. There is a link to this system in the description of this video. It is not an affiliate link where you can buy this if you're interested in getting one. I want to say a thank you to Hollyland for sending this over. As someone who uses wireless microphones all the time, it's really been interesting for me to have a play and have a test of how it performs compared to the Rode system. I've used Rode extensively, but mine is really coming to the end of its life, and this now is going to be its replacement. Anyway, That's it from me on this one. If you found this video interesting, please do let me know in the comment section. Please do give it a like as well. If you're not a subscriber, please do hit the subscribe button. We traditionally cover drone and FPV related content. However, as a content creator, I use microphones all the time, so there's no reason I can't give you my thoughts on them too. Anyway, that's it from me. Stay safe. I'll speak to you soon.